Hey guys, I got another video here. Talking a little quiet because my kids are sleeping. So I think I'll turn the mic a little bit towards me. But I got a little unboxing, and I also want to um, show off some figures and projects that I've been working on, and I think you guys will find them really really cool. So I'm gonna start actually with unboxing here. Um, I got this tiny package, and I'm pretty sure there's like 6 figures in here. Actually a little worried how small this is. I think there's like 6 or 5 figures, and just like look at this. It's like, do you guys play Magic the Gathering? It's like a little bit bigger than the size of like a deck box. Um, so let me open this. I'm trying to get my battle planner pulled up for the second half of this video, but oh, I thought I could use. Man, I really thought I could get this. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Just gonna go full berserk on it. Apparently my wife took the scissors out of that. Oh, this is actually not what I thought it was. Okay. So, perfect. So as you guys know, I do a lot of figure customization. So something that I'm working on right now is kind of multiple fold. I really like to use the Mage Knight metal figures. I'm going to show off a couple of those right now. So this is a recent project of mine. I worked with someone to create the Magna Draconum. So this is the Mage Knight metal version. So it's got a lot more detail. And the reason why I did this is I actually, I bought a bulk lot online about 6 months ago, and it came with a Magna Draconum, but somebody decided to use acetone and paint the whole thing lime green. So it was like a Magna Draconum, and it was completely lime green. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go all out instead of trying to find a replacement. I'm just going to get a Mage Knight metal and have someone do this for me. So this thing looks just absolutely killer. It looks mean. It's heavy. I mean, this thing is like weighty because all metal, pewter, and it looks so sharp, and it really adds like an element to the Draconum. And I plan on doing the Hierophant next. And actually, shout out to Brad Shug, if you guys know him in the community, but he actually gave me a Magus that was destroyed. He just kind of gave it to me for free because I was looking for it, and somebody decided to paint it, and honestly, it's kind of a worthless figure when it's painted like that. So I actually got the Mage Knight metal version of Magus, and I just painted that. So what's nice about this is the metal Magus, you can actually make out his face. Mage Knight Rebellion was notorious for having a really ugly mold on a lot of those figures, even though the game was very unique. The first print run of that game was not very good. And so this is a metal Magus. I just took off the old one and I put on the metal one. So I'll post pictures of all these figures. Another figure that broke was Viha of Vlad. I got it for like 99 cents. It was already broken. And I thought, hey, that could become a nice project. So this is the Viha's dial right here. And I'm still customizing this, but this is going to be Viha of Vlad. It's got double swords, just like the actual mount does. And it's got a Dark Elf featurette. And so another thing that I've been doing is, unfortunately, if you look at like some of the limited edition figures, actually, let's take a swap over at my screen, and it's not working. There we go. Well, that's going to load up. Something that actually happened in Mage Knight Unlimited was they made a lot of Unlimited was like a second swing at the game. They revised the rules a ton, and they also came out with a ton of reprinted figures. They also came out with a ton of new figures, and they also came out with a lot of limited edition figures of original figures. For example, Whistler was the limited edition version of the Steam Golem. There was Haunt, who was the limited edition figure of the Spectre. And a lot of these figures were just insane. So, for example, I'll pull it up right now. Vire was actually the limited edition figure for the Night Stalker. This figure right here. And if you just look at the stats, 49 points, 12 range, 2 targets, it's got Pierce, it's got Quickness, Weapon Master, limited invisibility on its first click. It gets Venom. This thing is just an absolute beast. It's invisible. If anyone moves into base contact, you're going to hit them with that 11 attack. It forces them to just get completely wrecked. And this figure is just, it's a staple in the format. People love this figure. It was used a lot in tournament games, much like Marrow was used. And so they came out with Unlimited, and let me just log in here to my virtual desktop. And unfortunately, they didn't do it for every figure. So for one figure they actually did do it for was Stonefist. So let's look this dude up. Stonefist, LE. So Stonefist is actually the... Where are you at, Stonefist? Here he is. He is the limited edition version of the Troll Brawler. And it looks sick, right? It's a great idea. I love it. I think it's really cool. But one thing they didn't do is they never, ever reprinted the Troll Artillerist in Unlimited. They did the Brawler, but they didn't do the Artillerist. So what I ended up doing is I ended up purchasing a Troll Artillerist online. It was already pre-painted. It was a reasonable price of $20. And I'm going to paint him to have the LE coloring. And just to show you what that would look like, let's do Mage Knight, Troll Artillerist. There we go. So it was printed in Rebellion. You can see the shoulder pads indicated its level. So I'm going to paint the shoulder pads on the metal version copper to signify, and I'm going to call him Fletcher. Thanks, Mark, for that. And so I'm going to look at what other LEs, I'm going to kind of look at what they did with some of the LEs, and I'm going to make a really unique Troll Artillerist figure, and it's going to become an LE basically for my personal army. I'm going to use, there's actually a calculator out there you can use to create points for figures. And so those calculators are really great for creating balanced figures. So I'm hoping to, let's just open up Battle Planner here. I'm hoping to create a figure. Sorry, my wife is texting me. So, kind of talking through this. And I apologize if some of you guys don't care about this, but I feel like this is a really cool thing. The thing about Mage Knight is because it is completely out of print, there's, I can do unboxings and I can show cool figures, but something that I really want to do is I want to show off these LE figures that never really had a time of day, and they could have existed if the game continued. So let's look up Stonefist here. Stonefist. So here we go. Let's make this a little bigger. Let's do this here. Come on. There we go. So check this out. So Stonefist. Let's do. Actually, this is easier if I type in Troll Brawler. Cool. All right, so let's go all the way over here. So here we go. So here is the Troll Brawler from Limited. You can see it was printed in Rebellion here. You can see those 3 were printed. So here it is, 27 points for the weak one. It has regeneration, toughness, and battle fury. The same thing on the standard. In the tough one, just has higher stats, right? So it's like the same figure. Well, Stone Fist was about 11 more points than the tough version, right? But they gave him Berserk, kind of a Berserk click, so you can see he's got 12 attack, 11 attack near the end of his dial. He doesn't have regeneration, but he starts with charge, which is really cool. So what they did is they kind of spiced up and made him better. So if I look at the Troll Artillerist, actually let's take a look at the Steam Golem. They did the same thing. So here we go. So here is the weak Steam Golem. It's got 10 range, toughness, battle fury, just high stats, right? Well, if you take a look at Whistler, he's got lower stats, but he's got Pierce. So what they did is they kind of powered him up a little bit and gave him a little bit of a twist. I already talked about Vire. I'm trying to think of another one. Is it Wood Golem? Is that what it is? Yeah, here we go. So here's Brotto. He's got charge and polearm. But if we look, my mouse keeps messing up here. Wow, I'm having a tough day. What the frick? All right, there we go. So that's 42 points. But if we look at the tough, Wood Golem, it's just a weaker version. So if we look at the Troll Artillerist, let's do Troll Artillerist. So it looks like most of the LEs are around the same point value as the tough version. So what I want to do is I want to create like a 40 to 50 point version of the Troll Artillerist. I don't think I would make it have bound personally. I just really think bound is a stupid mechanic. It's wildly overpowered. I feel like it's super, super overpowered. So I probably would do is have 12 range, probably have 2 targets, probably give them Pierce. Now that I think about it, I kind of would take a look at Warrior Hoon and maybe, here we go, Warrior Hoon level 1. Let's go to, here we go, is this level 5? Yeah, so Warrior Hoon's got Pierce, he's got Toughness, he's got 12 range, he's got Regeneration. I probably would do something similar to this figure. Maybe give him Ram, something like that. Maybe like later on in his clicks, kind of like, does Mondravelis have that? I believe, what does Mondravelis have? Yeah, so Ram, yeah, he gets Ram later on. So I might do something like that in his Berserk click, give him Ram. And so that's what I plan to do. Another figure I'm really excited to make is they made a Werebear and a Werewolf LEs, a Tagra and Maneater, but they never made a Werecat, and so I want to make a Werecat LE. So this is another one that I painted. And it would be similar where it would start out really weak, but then kind of push itself to get stronger. So that's really cool. Expect to see that when I'm finished. I want to do like a video overview showing the stats of those figures. I'll create like a stat graph for each one with points, with reasoning behind them, and kind of showcase pictures of those finished dials. And keep in mind, I'm going to get these custom printed. And so each of these dials will look like a real figure. These will look and feel like a real figure. I'm going to get the actual plastic. I'm going to get the plastic dial custom printed, and then I get these printed for 99 cents, the actual paper dial. So we're talking about, production quality, custom figures. So awesome. All right, so we got kind of moving on here in the second part of the video. By the way, for those Magus, people want me to pull those up. So just to kind of circle back on that, let's see, where is he? Magus, where are you? Is this him? There he is. So that's the Magus I did. So if you see that, that's the Magus, custom Magus. And then Magna Drac. Uh-oh. So that's the Magna Draconum. So this doesn't look the same, but we kind of went for a unique look here. And with these metal figures, you can kind of do whatever you want. So I kind of went with a bone color for the nails and horns instead of the red color. It just makes it look more, you know, the color palette goes together better. So, all right. This one opened up very easy. Here we go. Wow, they fit a lot in here. I hope nothing broke. All right, so the first one, I'll pull this dude up. So I got this guy because I'm actually working on an army, which I'll talk about. There he is, weak Tribo. All right, so I got a weak Tribo here. The reason why I got a weak one is it's a nice, cool 50 points. It is a dual faction figure. If you look, it's actually Atlantis and Knights Immortal. It's got Pierce, and he has 3 targets. Why is that important? Well, this guy can actually bound, shoot 3 different targets within 12 of his arc, and because he has Pierce, if those figures have toughness or invulnerability, it'll actually go through those abilities. Hopefully, bound doesn't force you to pick one target. Got it. Perfect. Pierce. When this warrior makes a ranged combat attack, it ignores the defense special abilities of all target figures for the duration of the attack. So you ignore battle armor, you ignore invulnerability, and you ignore toughness, which is really great. You know, after his first click, he, you know, let's be honest, he becomes garbage. If you look, he literally drops from 10 to 9. He keeps 3 damage all the way through, which is good, so I can't be too critical. But he does lose bound, and he doesn't get Pierce back. So he just, after his first click, he's kind of dead. And so what I'm working on is I'm actually working on a phalanx format. So basically what I would do is Tribo would bound, shoot, then a phalanx formation would come up back into base contact with him to give him that 21 defense. And so if you guys don't know what the phalanx is, I talked about this recently. In a recent video, but Phalanx, it has the highest defense in the game. He also is Knights Immortal and Atlantis Guild, but he has Command and Defend. So this, you know, the Phalanx is really good because he just gives your guys a tremendous amount of defense, and Tribo can kind of jump forward and do this crazy stuff. So that's why I got that figure. Oh, interesting. Awesome. So I just got another unlimited LE. It is Gouge. He has Sweep. He also, believe it or not, has 4 range. Unfortunately, I believe Battle Fury prevents range attacks. Is that Berserk? There we go. So Berserk. So he's got a very low attack. Trying to turn this back to its starting dial here. And he's got low speed, but he has Sweep, Battle Armor, and does 3 damage. So he's kind of just a fun figure to play with, especially if you're playing with Orc Raiders. I got this for next to nothing because the sword is broken. Luckily, I have a Painter's Edition where I can actually cut that sword off and add another one. So that's what I'm planning on doing. You know, I don't want to pay full dollar for this figure because it's more of a collectible. Oh, wow. All right, so let's do this. Solo Navi. So I actually got a Solo Navi Channeler, tough. 53 points, but look at that figure. So a lot of people go for the limited edition version of this figure because it has two targets. The reason why I didn't do that, so here's Mondravelis. Mondravelis has 9 attack, 10 movement, and 2 damage, and 16 defense, where the tough version has, here we go, has 12 attack, 3 damage, 17 defense, and 10 movement. And so for an extra, 15 points, you get more damage, you get more attack and more defense. And Mondrevulis is really great, but at the same time, so the tough Solanavi Channeler is also actually an offensive monster. And so it also has that Berserk click at the end for 4, where Mondrevulis only has 3. At the same time, though, Mondrevulis does have 9 attack in her final stat, where this one has 6. That kind of feels like an error. I guess it's not. Okay. But also, I don't have the money for Mondrevulis because people skyrocket the value of that, so I'll stick with a tough Solanavi Channeler. I also have a weak one, which a lot of people suggest the weak version if you only have 33 points. This is the best in slot magic healer in the game at that point value. Another figure that I picked up, I actually own this one already, but it was well worth the cheap price tag. It was a broken Order of Ulrich, and I plan on customizing this figure myself. Order of Ulrich is one of my favorite figures in the game. It just has a wild sneak attack. This thing can just murder anything. And so I'm a big fan of it. And so this broken one, I'm going to get rid of the actual figurine on here, and I'm going to put my own custom figurine. And, to be honest, this does not look like a vampire. This looks like a knight that they just took from Ral Partha and stuck on this sucker. So I've never been a fan of the Order of Ulrich sculpt. I've been a huge fan of the dial, but not the sculpt. I think it's one of the coolest dials in the game. Flight, sneak attack, vampirism, battle armor, command. It's a really cool dial. So I'm going to customize that in the future. The last figure here is a unique that I've just wanted for my collection. It is the Thunder Doom Troll. For those who don't know what this is, I'm sorry, I didn't pull up Order of Ulrich. So, Order of Ulrich. So that's, here we go. Nope, here we go. 88 points. Come on. Flight, sneak attack, battle armor, command. It gets vampirism later on. Stays above 10 attack for over half of its dial. Has battle fury for almost the entire dial or command. Battle armor, so it's really, really hard to hit this thing unless you have pierce. You're looking at hitting, you have to hit a 20 defense range. That's not going to happen unless you have pierce or something to get through that, unless you roll a critical hit. So this figure is great. I'm going to customize that sucker soon. Here we go. And then the last figure here, I was going to do more for this video, but it's getting kind of long. So the Thunderdoom Troll, 90 points. This thing is just an absolute heavy hitter attacker. Look at that, 12, 12, 11, 11, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. It's got regeneration. It's just a heavy hitter figure, and I'm glad to have it in my collection because it's just cool looking. And my friends are probably going to like to play it, and it's just good to have. So I got this for like $5 or less. So that is my update. I cannot believe they fit all those figures in this tiny, tiny, tiny box. Blows my mind, but they probably got it for really cheap that way to send. Anyways, some really cool things on the horizon. Making some cool figures. Of course, with the shutdown happening, it's going to be tough to get businesses asking them to do these little 99-cent prints for me. And so that's going to have to wait. But I will be working on creating those dials, and I might even do a video of me doing it and kind of my thought process behind that. So let me know what you guys think, if you guys are interested in that. And I also have a couple of armies that I've been working on in here in my armies. So cool. Thank you guys, and until next time.